Hello everybody, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. I concede I just spent several minutes looking at a puzzle and making effectively no progress once again and kind of scrapping the thoughts because it wasn't very interesting to watch me not make any progress for 10 minutes. So the level of the puzzles up here is getting harder to kind of find areas to break into the logic of some things. Obviously we've done a pass of a lot of these earlier sections to get some of the crimson windows, gemmed ruby windows, whatever they're called. But some of them, like some of the individual puzzles in some of these are just not gelling with my brain, but I really want to like get more of these windows just to have it done, not you. What other ones do we have? Like polyominoes. There is just this guy. Oh god, it's the 7. Do we sit here for 45 minutes and try and grind this out? It feels like it shouldn't be too bad with the shape bank, you know? So this and this are kind of my primary, how do we fit both of these in this center space, you know? Particularly because we can't do this, because that leaves the 1 there, so that's out. I wish I could zoom in on sections of puzzles sometimes, you know? So it could be this. Can't be that. Can't be this. That's a different shape compared to these 3. They could exist within the same one as well, although actually not, because there's nothing that can then get out to this space to make that be valid. Is that true on all sides? Yeah. So I don't think they share a region. So that can't do that. It can do this. It feels like this is one of the few ways that we can get both of those in here. Then it could either be... Okay, it can't be that. It could be that. And right now I don't have much in the way of better logic for getting that out, but it feels like I'm just going to end up colouring in the rest of everything else and hoping it goes okay. I wish I could put a save state in for this, you know? Is there any other way I can make the 2 L's inside this region functionally work? Okay, not this way. Which almost feels like a rotation of what we just had, but... Basically, my brain's like, try and find any other viable packing for the 2 long L's that we already have. And if you can't find one, then it stands to reason that the one we do have is the only one that remains. That's the same problem I think we had once already. Again, this isn't it. Unless... no. Okay, I can't see any other way of doing this than the way I have, other than this way that I've already got. So if we take this as kind of a pseudo safe state, so if we undo through the dots, then we know we've gotten back to here. Where else would I then begin to try and pack stuff? Because this one can't go... I mean, it could go up. It has so many options on how that goes. These are close to each other. This guy, I think, is one of the more limited pieces on the whole board, in fact. Is that the only way it can fit? No, it can definitely do this. But if we're taking what we have as truth, then we can't leave that one there. So I think that's the only way that this can go. There's no other way to pack this in. So that would have to come 2 and 1. That has to come 2 and 1. The other thing I could do, hypothetically, is out of this, check progress now just to see if I'm working on a correct foundation, but I don't want to do that too much. Right, I think this has to be the 2. Because if this comes up and over, nothing can be that long. So that's going to be the 2, and it's either this or this. This has to be 3 on one long side. This has to get out. That, I think, has to do this, because if we do any other shape, then the other one gets caught off. Now, is this resolvable? Because I don't see any other way that that can go other than this. Could go that. That feels better. So that would have to go that way. That would have to go that way. That has to take the 2. God, if this just finishes out right now. How is that a 7? That wasn't so bad at all. Well, if nothing else, we've got another jeweled window frame, and I'm very happy about it. So that's precision done, polyomino done, mingle shape is done. There's one here at Forest Trailhead. You there. Well, we've been here before. Do I trust that this is correct, or should I just do that and see what we can do? Another shape bank, another polyomino, and just the Gemini deltas. Now, obviously, these are all interconnected because this touches that, that. So we have all that to deal with. And it's all 2 3s or 4s. I have no idea what my logic might have been to get this started down here. What else can we see? Well, the biggest chain of similars that we have is this. So these will have to be the same. Does that help me in any way? The other kind of thing to keep in roughly in mind is that none of these, apart from, none of these can be 3 long. And if you'll say, oh, well, the T-shape can be 3 long, it can be 3 long, but it can't be 3 long that crosses this boundary. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff in this space that has to be tightly packed and conformed unless any of the edges come to 2s. So it's going to beg some questions about how we pack the area inside here. This guy can only exist as either this or this. If this exists as this, then that would have to exist, or, I mean, it could be any other similar T. But if this is a T, and this is a T, then this has to be a T, and there is no way to put a T on this tile. This tile cannot be a T. That's great knowledge. So, therefore, this, if we have 2s, 3s, and 4s, this is not a 4. Which means this is a 2 or a 3, and this is a 2 or a 3, and this is a 2 or a 3. And that means if this can't be a 4, but this needs its polyomino, the only other way to put that polyomino is this. I think I had that bit of logic when we came back to the puzzle, but I'm happier for refiguring that out. So that means this can't go there, leaving that as a 1. So that goes there. Happy enough with that. That leaves this as a 2 or a 3. If it's a 2, then that can be a 2. And these can obviously be 2s in some configuration. If this is a 3, then it can do that as well. So the 2, 3 here is variable, but definitely not a 4. This cell must touch that one because it's a dead end. Whether it's a 2 or a 3, we don't know. So this is ambiguous. I think that means... oh, well, this has to either be this or this. So these are ambiguous. This has to touch this, and this is ambiguous to the 2 3s. And then there's going to be probably something similar going on this side with the chain of like for like things. Now, this tile and this tile are very important because it really defines if this is something different, this is something different, which means they can't ever touch. Because if we do that, then one of these is definitely not happy about the situation. So where do we go from here? It's a great question. If this was a 4, and this was a 4, and this was a 4, and that was a 2, and that was a 4, and that was a 3. Oh, we could go 2 and 2. So that's still very ambiguous. I just like how neat and tidy this works out. Oh. This is going to be interesting, because this can't be a 2. Oh, sorry. This is a 4. This has to be different. So this can't be a 4, it has to be a 2 or a 3. If it's a 3, then this has to be a 3. But this can't take both of those. So I think that would have to be a 2. And then this would have to be a 2 going one way or the other way. And then this would have to be the other thing. So, and then that's going to have the same thing applying over here. Oh god. And I'm acutely aware I've probably vibed a bit too much up to this point and it's all going to come crumbling down, but I'll see it through for a minute. So this is a 4, 2. This must be a 2, whether it's this one or this one. Which means this must be a 3 or a 4. That has to be the 2. So, this is a 4. This is a 2, this is a 2, this is not a 2, this is a 3. This has to be... It can't be a 4. So... It has to be a 3. It has to be a 3. So... It can't do that because these can't do this, so that has to go up to there. Then... This is a 3, so this has to be a 2, a 2, a 2, this. Then that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 3. Is all of this working? I can't believe all of this is working. It's all come crumbling down. This can't be a 2. It would have to be a 3, but we can't have a 1 there. God damn it. Okay. What if we had... Can I make this 3s instead? Through here. 3, 3... Oh no, because I decided... Oh, okay, 3... 3... 2... T... Hold on. This has to be different. This has to be the same. Oh my god. I was not expecting that to work out as well as it did. I can't believe it. Well, I'll take it. That is another gem one. Maybe I skipped over these hardest puzzles too fast. So where does that put us on our progress? The rose window, I am very confident in not touching yet. But that's the rest of the top row done. There's 1 there, 6 there, 3 there, a bunch there, 3 there, 2 there, 2 there. A bunch in Bricky, a bunch in Loopy, 3 in Inequality, a bunch in Difference, 2 in Watchtower, 5 in Compass, and then the big ones. Nice to get a couple of those oneers done, though. That was over here, wasn't it? Forest Trailhead done. Who do you belong to? Area number. 5 and a 6. All right, show me this 5. 21. And if we do 5, hold on. Total area is 61. Then this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Plus the 21 equals the 61. So all of these are independent. With that in mind, it feels like this shouldn't be so bad. All we have to do is build all of these in a way that leaves no dead ends that the 21 can't reach. So like, that's great because it's all on edges. We don't care if things are neighbors or not. Now we can't do that because then these get left behind and these have to be part of the 21. So what else with that knowledge can we know? This can't go here. Could go there. Like, that packs in so cleanly, you know? But then this has to get out to somewhere. That can't do that. Right, that leaves those two there. I'm just trying to wonder, what is the actual logic for getting all this colouring in done, basically? That's not terrible. God, if I could just get you, I'd be golden. In some way that doesn't break up the edges. But that does. That leaves this at 18 and 3. Is it here and I'm just not seeing it? Like, this has to get out for the 21. If this is how this goes. And that would mean these have to get out, these have to get out. Is it that? Did my additional picturing help if we tap Q? Hey, I'll take it. Nice. Okay, that just leaves this 6 on area number. Oh, God. All right, then. If you insist. It's just area number and Gemini deltas. So, we can do some things here with some early node taking. I.e., this is a 5. This is a 3. This is a 3. This is a 3. Okay, that's the ones we get as givens. So that means this 5 has to get out. And then it has to get out. It can't touch that one. So then it has to get out. And then it's ambiguous onto this or this. Which means this is a 5. And this is a 5. Am I happy with that? Because that feels like a really good foundation to kick us off here. Let's just colour these in with something. So the 3 and the 3 touch, the 3 and the 3, the 3 and the 3. That means this is the 5. The 5 has to get out. It gets caught by that 3, comes out, can't go there. Yeah, that all seems quite sound. So, if we think about the Gemini, 2 regions touching this symbol must be the same shape. So it's the area number that concerns with size, but the Gemini concerns with shape. And if we look at this shape and this 5, we can't do this because then this delta is unhappy. And if we have this, there's no way for this... Oh, God. There's no way for this to make that shape. So I think that has to go that way. And then this has to make the same shape. This has to make the same shape. This has to make the same shape. So it's this big Z. So it could be that. In fact, this one on a corner can't be this, but we know it's a 5. So therefore, I think that has to be that. That's a line. That has to get out. That has to get out. This is not ambiguous anymore. This has to be the same shape and has to get out. So I think that has to come down and do that. And then this has to be the same shape, so it has to do that. We can have oneers. That's absolutely fine. This 3 is going to touch that 3. That 3 is going to go to there. This 5 has to get out to at least here. God, I hope all this is correct so far. I really do. I think this 5 has to go up. Because if this 5 comes left, this has to be a 5. And this 5 can't get out and leave 3. So I think that 5 has to go up. And then those... Okay, no, because I can't go through the 4. Huh. Alright, at this point then, I fear I have made a mistake. Because I can't do that and get this 5 out past this 4. No, everything is correct so far. Ooh. How? Oh God, is it that? That could be our way to do this, couldn't it? This would have to be a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it could be, right? That could all be true. Except this 6 cannot exist in a way that gets these 3s out. So let's undo this. Take you out to here. I think I was right. I think up to here was correct. So this has to equal that. If it touches the 5. That can't do that. One and 1. Is there any other way it can go? Because this has to get out. It can't go out that way. This wouldn't ever match. Can't go out that way. Could it go out that way? There's no way that this gets out. This feels like the only way to get this shape out of here. And that 4 would have to be matched by that 4, but then this 6 breaks things. I guess this could be valid. That's 6, that's 3. That's 3. That's 3. That's 1 and 1. That's 2. Is all of that correct? Feels like a big leap I just made, but who knows? This is a 3 that has to be different, so that has to do that, which means that has to do this. I mean, that could be valid. That would have to do this. That would have to do that. That's a 1. That's a 4. That's a 4. That's a 5. If this is a 1, I swear. Oh my god. What a solid day's solving. We did like... Is that... Yeah, that's 3 areas we've tidied up in a half hour. I feel great about that. Don't know about you guys. So 96 of those, 88% of those, 58% of these. There's the 1 rose window that my brain already knows about. I wonder if we could do the last 2 palisades. The last 3 range. 1 in size separation. Feels like maybe I could redo it on a visit, but for now, that is going to be everything. Thank you ever so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.